My name is Sandy Beach Lynn, and I am the retired president and CEO of Cali Solar Incorporated, which is a supplier of solar silicon to the solar cell industry. When I was 16 years old, I was very involved in junior achievement in high school, and it set me on a business career. At age 16, I knew that I wanted to lead a business, and I was able to eventually do that. Fast forward all the way through 1998 was when I got my first full profit and loss business, $500 million. But to answer the question of where I went to school, I graduated from the University of Toledo, where I had a junior achievement scholarship and also an internship at an automotive parts company called the Dana Corporation. And then I went on to the University of Michigan, where I got my MBA in marketing. I worked my way up through organizations, and also I had a couple of different turns in my career that taught me that growing a career is not linear. There's a lot of interesting left turns and right turns. One of the first interesting ones for me at the first company I was at, where I thought I would be forever, was after I had the birth of my first child. And this was 1990, and I wanted to work part-time. Unfortunately, that company didn't want to set a precedent, and then I had the opportunity to choose my career or my child. In that case, I chose the child. In any other case, I chose the child also. So I left that part of my career and wanted to stay home for a little while. And then a play group that I was in, I found a job in a play group, and went with a very small company. I was in the medical industry at that point, and stayed in that job for about a year or two. And then after the birth of my second child, I stayed home for a year, and then went back into the workforce full time. So there were lots of little turns there that were very unexpected. And the next turn that really made a big difference in my career was after I returned to the workforce. And about a year after that, I got a call from a person I had worked with at my first company who said, "I just joined this great company called Allied Signal, working for this great guy named Larry Bossidy. I'd like you to move to Singapore and lead this business for us." So off we went to Singapore. Well, the renewable energy industry is for people who like roller coaster rides, steep ones. The renewable energy industry in the world it's not quite at its infancy, but it's in its very young stage. So there's still a lot of government subsidies for that industry. And as a result, things can change very dramatically. And that's what has been happening in the solar industry. So while it's growing rapidly, lots of people are rushing in, and then lots of people are running out. And so it's not for the faint of heart. And one of the things I think that's important, either in a startup, which is what I was leading at that point, or in an industry like renewable energy, if I think about back to your young women question, dealing with ambiguity is a skill that I honed in my big corporate life, but was used to a great degree in an industry like renewable energy, where things are changing so dramatically. So if girls want to go into renewable energy, there's a number of different paths that they can take. Certainly there are environmental engineering degrees. There's combination degrees, MBA and environmental degrees. There's lots of different ways that they can do it. It also depends on what function they want to go into. So if they want to make solar panels, then they need an operations engineering type of degree. Or if they want to design wind turbines, which are really interesting. But if they want to market these, then again, I would say combine an environmental degree of some type with a sales and marketing type of background. There's lots of ways to go. Also, one of the fastest growing industries here in the United States within renewables are the projects themselves. So selling either the solar energy or the installation of these panels, whether it's out in a desert or whether it's on a commercial rooftop. There are a lot of those skills involve not only selling commercial skills, those involve finance skills. So there's absolutely a big place for finance majors in the renewable energy industry also. For women in the future, I see, first of all, terrific opportunities. There's going to be so many skills that are needed. And again, as many of us have read, over 50% of the students in college right now are women. So again, that pipeline is being filled very much, and it certainly has been for the last 10 or 15 years. So I think the opportunities are going to be there. I think that what women will do is that they will maybe work to be more balanced or make the choices more rapidly. In my case, once I went back to work, I went back to work. I would get the school calendar, I would prioritize my children, but that balance was always there, that I had to keep balancing every single time. I think the women today are going to make choices maybe in different increments than I did. so maybe they'll stay home a little longer than I did. Or maybe they'll work to strive to be partner at a law firm earlier, and maybe then they'll take a year or two off and slow it. I don't know how the choices will be made, but I think there's going to be more variety of choices for women, and I think that employers understand that more. And I think the generation that's coming out of college right now is making it clear that they want to have choices. I think, again, the opportunities for women, if they want to move outside of their home country, especially the United States, are going to be terrific. And if the women or girls will raise their hand and say, I want to go to Argentina, I want to go to China, I think they will open up a world of opportunities. I believe you can do anything that you can set your mind to if and you've got the education capabilities. I had the good fortune of getting the education that I needed, and I would just want to encourage the women who would be watching this or the girls who would be watching this to get the best education that you possibly can, because that was my foundation. And I was able to get some really early work experience while I was going to school that helped me see what does good look like, or what does excellent look like. What I would say is raise your hand. Really, if you want to do something, and it doesn't have to be, hey, I want to move to Asia, but there are steps that you can take along the way in your career where you can raise your hand and volunteer to do different projects, to take on different jobs. I sold rubber chemicals to the tire industry. I never thought in a million years I could do that, but I did, and that was a very initial stepping stone for me. So my advice would be to raise your hand and volunteer to do things that maybe you don't think you can do, but take that chance. It's worth it. I didn't get married until I was in my late 20s, and then we had our child, I don't know, a year and a half after that. That's something you really got to be picky about. I certainly would encourage women to take their time, and I would encourage men to take their time too, to not rush into something just to be married or anything of that sort. So I'm not even sure I'm qualified to answer that question, except to say that I would encourage girls to take their time and find the right fit for themselves. Careers are not necessarily linear. They really don't have to be, and that's the beauty of the way things are shaping up today. It's the beauty of living in the United States, and where you've got so many choices. And it just, for me, again, as a curious person wanting to continue to learn, it has made for a very interesting career and very rewarding.